Alright everyone, let's dive into XRP today. You know what, I need to be completely honest with you guys. In a recent video, I was super confident that XRP would never drop below $3 again. I mean, the chart looked absolutely bulletproof, but guess what happened? It crashed right through that $3 mark. Then I thought, okay, surely it won't break $2. And boom, it did exactly that. This market is just so incredibly unpredictable right now, and there's a huge reason why. Here's the thing. I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. Some creators out there feel like they need to be right 100% of the time, but that's just not realistic. I'm just a guy who absolutely loves talking about crypto and wants to build wealth alongside all of you. That's what this is really about. And honestly, that's exactly why I actually care if you lose your money. I'm probably one of the few people who'll remind you every single day to stay away from scams and anything that sounds too good to be true. Your success matters to me. But here's what's really happening. Market manipulation is making this entire cycle completely unpredictable. And unfortunately, it's going to keep happening because we still don't have proper regulations in place. That's one of the biggest problems we're facing. Vincent van Gogh dropped some serious knowledge recently. He said, and I quote, "Just a daily reminder that XRP volume is relatively low, and as such, price can be easily moved. 20 billion is when XRP is really being traded." He breaks down exactly why crypto is such a wild animal right now, and his points are spot on. First, we've got that lack of regulations I mentioned. Second, there's massive market manipulation from Bitcoin whales who can move entire markets with a single trade. Third, we have a lot of newer retail investors who panic at the first sign of red. And I get it. Nobody likes seeing their portfolio bleed. Fourth, these low trading volumes create perfect conditions for wash trading and bot manipulation. Fifth, huge over-the-counter trades are happening off the books, which affects what we see on exchanges. And finally, since there's very little intrinsic value right now, everything becomes pure speculation and emotional trading. Vincent makes a brilliant point. When fundamentals are strong, there's no real negative news, and the price still tanks, that's a clear sign crypto is undervalued. He's absolutely unshaken, even though he admits to having a relatively small XRP bag. What's really exciting is that he's building innovative things for clients using the XRP ledger. Public notarization is just one example. And you know what? He's absolutely right. The current price is not the real price of XRP. It should be way higher already. But here's what keeps happening. Someone mentions tariffs, and Bitcoin immediately plummets, dragging the entire market down with it. Add in some whale selling, and boom, we're back down. Again, this is the reality we're dealing with right now. But here's the good news. This won't last forever. Once we get proper regulations in place, I believe we're going to see massive changes in how exchanges operate behind the scenes. The manipulation will become much harder to pull off. Now, speaking of exciting developments, 21 Shares, which is a top crypto company, just asked the XRP army to get ready. They're saying, here's what's coming, and we know their ETF is on the horizon. There's actually a chance it could launch as early as tomorrow. But the way they're telling everyone to get ready makes you wonder if there's something even bigger in the works, something that might be more focused on retail investors like us. Honestly, I think they're mainly pushing their XRP ETF, but the timing and messaging is definitely interesting. Chad Steingraber made a fantastic point about these XRP ETFs. The best part about XRP ETFs, we don't need any new laws. That's huge because it means we're not waiting for Congress to figure things out. We can move forward with existing regulations. So, where does this leave us? The manipulation is real, the volatility is crazy, but the fundamentals keep getting stronger. We just need to stay patient and keep building our positions while these prices are still artificially low. And here's something absolutely massive. The largest institutions can now buy XRP, and it's completely legal today. Chad's totally right about this. These institutions just got the green light to flood into this space through ETFs. So what have I been hammering home this entire time? You beat the institutions to the party. Don't you dare sell your XRP now. The institutional money is about to pour in through these ETFs like a tsunami. Here's what's going to happen. They're going to keep buying and buying until they've swallowed up most of the available supply. they're not going to stop. And they're going to create new ways for companies to leverage these ETFs. It's going to be absolutely insane. Speaking of insane developments, the CEO of Kuprium Trading just dropped a bombshell. Ripple is building a JP Morgan rival. Let me play this for you.
They are building literally a I said it before, a JP Morgan rival once they get their banking license. They're going to be incredibly well capitalized. Why would they want to sell XRP? They're going to want to hold on to that. As it goes up in value, they could sell some, clearly, sure. I just think that Ripple is a machine. It is a highly disciplined team that is, they don't all have to agree on things, and some of them leave to go here or go there. They sure all leave and go somewhere related. So whether it's a master plan, or more likely it's really creative people that work as a team, and they all have different paths that their lives take them on, but they stay in the ecosystem, and they're creating a bigger ecosystem, a more robust ecosystem. I just think Ripple is at the center of the universe. And so Brad says XRP, he's being modest with Ripple.
Here's something that absolutely blows my mind. Have you ever noticed where former Ripple employees end up? It's like watching a master plan unfold in real time. Take Robbie Mitchnick, perfect example. He basically got deployed to BlackRock. And you can see this pattern with so many people who've left Ripple over the years. They either go build companies that somehow connect back to Ripple, or they land at some of the biggest corporations on the planet. It's like everything leads back to Ripple eventually. They've built such an incredibly well-rounded company that their alumni network is taking over the financial world. And before anyone starts worrying, Brad Garlinghouse is absolutely not abandoning XRP. Not even close. XRP has been at the heart of everything Ripple does since day one, and that's never going to change. I saw this incredible post that really puts things in perspective. Back in 2014, people had to use PayPal just to buy XRP. Can you believe that? They were getting 75,000 XRP for just $300. That's only 0.4 of a penny per XRP. Imagine all those early believers who were buying back then. When the 2017 to 2018 bull run hit and XRP rocketed to $3.84, those people must have been absolutely ecstatic. But here's what really gets me. It was so much harder to buy XRP back then. Today, you just hop on Uphold, Coinbase, or pretty much any major exchange, and boom, you've got XRP. Sure, you still need to do your KYC and AML compliance, but other than that, XRP is available everywhere. Back in 2014, completely different story. Crypto was viewed so differently back then. Everyone who bought crypto felt like they were doing something illegal. I remember when I started buying XRP in 2018, and people would literally whisper when they found out I was a crypto investor. It was like admitting to some secret underground activity. A lot of people still think crypto is the wild, wild west. But guess what? Those days are ending fast. The entire space is maturing, and the people who've been holding for years are maturing right along with it. You don't hear people talking about buying Lambos and mansions anymore. Now it's all about paying off debts, buying a reasonable house, getting a practical car. The culture has completely shifted, and honestly, it's so much healthier. Eleanor Tourette made a brilliant observation about how people react to red days and market crashes. She said something that really stuck with me. When I first started reporting on crypto for mainstream media, I was always amazed by the OGs I interviewed. They never seemed the least bit fazed when markets were crashing around them. Having worked 2 years on the New York Stock Exchange floor, where every 2 to 3% swing felt like a crisis, I assumed the crypto guys were just acting tough. But then she learned the truth. In crypto, wiping out entire yearly gains in a month with 20 to 40% swings is basically just your average Tuesday. Keith, Grossman put it perfectly in his Wall Street Journal interview. He said, "I was more frustrated by my current kidney stone situation than by the crypto markets." That's the level of zen we're talking about here. Eleanor nails it. Crypto kills nerves. If you're in crypto long enough, none of this stuff phases you. And I couldn't agree more. I've been in this space for years now. When a red day shows up, I just brush it off like it didn't even happen. That's exactly what I'm trying to help all of you develop too. Here's something I always try to hammer home with you guys. You didn't lose money unless you actually sold today. If you did absolutely nothing, you didn't lose anything. Zero. Zilch. And if you're feeling like you need to do something, buy the dip. That's literally the only move that makes sense right now. Other than that, just sit back and relax because we absolutely will see green days ahead. XRP is going to break out in a massive way, and I want every single one of you here for that moment. I don't want you getting shaken out just because some people are acting like the sky is falling. You know what drives me absolutely crazy? I see some of the supposedly strongest hands in crypto, and the moment a red day shows up, they're all over X, spreading doom and gloom. This is it. Pack up your bags. It's over. Come back in 2028. Like, seriously? Why would you even spread that kind of nonsense? Why pump out all that negativity? Because here's the thing. Negativity is incredibly contagious. New investors see that panic and they react to it immediately. But once you've been here for a while, something magical happens. You gain patience. You start looking at charts completely differently. You zoom out. You start asking the right questions. Is this market manipulation? When are they finally going to let Bitcoin go on that last massive ascent? Nobody knows exactly when it's going to happen, but we all know it's inevitable. And that's exactly why it doesn't bother us anymore. Jake Clever dropped this gem recently. I gave you the map. If you own XRP, all you have to do is nothing. I'm just going to sit tight and smile while it all unfolds. Now, he's apparently made some pretty wild bets. His predictions? Either $2,500 by the end of the year or $750. And he says both scenarios are totally possible. Is he going to be right? Honestly, I have no idea. I've looked at this from multiple angles. If we see that supply scarcity everyone's talking about, absolutely, XRP could rocket to these price points. But is it realistic? That's the million-dollar question. Here's what nobody really knows for certain. How much XRP is actually sitting on those over-the-counter desks right now? People are making assumptions about the numbers, but the truth is nobody knows the real figures. And don't even get me started on the dark pools. But here's what I do know. Once that OTC XRP disappears, you better buckle up. All these ETF companies are going to have to turn to the exchanges to buy XRP. When that happens, demand is going to absolutely skyrocket, and the price is going to follow right behind it. Speaking of things that should worry Bitcoin holders, Vaneck just dropped something pretty eye-opening.
Sort of one of the fundamentals. Now, there's something else going on within the Bitcoin community that kind of non-crypto people need to know about. And that is ultimately, Vaneck has been around before Bitcoin. We will walk away from Bitcoin if we think the thesis is fundamentally broken. We don't right now. But you always have to look at the underlying technology. And the Bitcoin community has been asking itself about, is there enough encryption in Bitcoin? Because quantum computing is coming. And then secondly, is there enough privacy in Bitcoin? And so a lot of Bitcoin OGs or maxis have been looking at Zcash. And Zcash,
what's that?
Zcash is a token. It's sort of related to Bitcoin with a lot more privacy. Because the kind of garbage that we got about Bitcoin 4 years ago is it's like used for all bad illicit behavior. But now everyone kind of realizes when you move money around on the Bitcoin blockchain, you can see it. You can see it move from one wallet to another. And a lot of people are looking for more privacy.
So he just laid out two massive concerns. First, quantum computing is an absolute threat to Bitcoin. Bitcoin maximalists can deny it all they want, but it's real. The rise of quantum computers is happening over the next 2 years, whether they like it or not. That's exactly why it's better to be invested in something that's not only quantum proof, but technology advancement proof in general. Technology keeps advancing, and frankly, it's leaving Bitcoin behind. When you're holding XRP, you're literally holding the future. And more people are waking up to this reality every single day. Check this out. Robert Kiyosaki just sold Bitcoin during this market crash, and he's practicing what I teach. He sold $2.25 million worth of Bitcoin at around $90,000. Get this. He originally bought that Bitcoin for $6,000 per coin years ago. We're seeing more and more of this now. It's not just random people. These are OG Bitcoin holders who've been in the game forever. They don't like where Bitcoin is heading. They don't like the government ties. They don't like what's happening behind the scenes. And here's what's really happening. These Bitcoin OGs are jumping ship and looking to invest in something with better potential. I think a lot of them are seeing the superior return on investment in assets like XRP, and they're making the smart move. Speaking of smart moves, check out this headline. Financial advisors who ignore Bitcoin ditched by younger, wealthy Americans. This is absolutely huge. What this article is basically saying is that If financial advisors aren't pushing crypto, younger investors are saying, forget you, and going off on their own to invest anyway. These advisors are shooting themselves in the foot. They should be capitalizing on this massive opportunity. Their doors would be absolutely flooded with new, wealthy clients if they were embracing crypto instead of pushing their customers away from it. Because let's be real, the better returns are definitely in crypto, not the traditional stock market. Think about it. You go into crypto with a few $1,000s and potentially walk away with hundreds of thousands. That's life-changing money. You can't get those kinds of returns in traditional investments anymore. But here's the problem. Some financial advisors are finally starting to embrace crypto, but others just can't bring themselves to do it. They've been spreading negativity about crypto for so long that they can't swallow their pride now. Most of these advisors were around during the crypto crackdown. They were probably telling their clients, stay away from crypto, the government's cracking down, crypto will be gone in a year or two. And look where we are today. Crypto was never going anywhere. Now the entire world is embracing it. Countries are making it legal tender, institutions are pouring billions in, and governments are creating regulatory frameworks. So how do these advisors go back to their clients and say, hey, I was completely wrong about crypto. Maybe you should start investing now. Their egos won't let them do it. You know what I used to do? I would randomly call 3 financial advisors every day just to get their takes on crypto. It was like a little experiment. Out of those 3 calls, maybe one would say, well, it's very volatile, but if you really want to get into it, I could help you. But for the most part, they were just pushing people away from the biggest wealth building opportunity of our lifetime. And honestly, I think a lot of them still are. That's exactly why the younger generation is avoiding financial advisors altogether. They're thinking, we don't need some outdated advisor who missed the entire crypto revolution. We'll figure this out ourselves. And you know what? They're absolutely right. That's why we're going to see massive waves of new investors flooding into this space over time. But no matter how you slice it, here's what I know for certain. XRP. Investors are going to achieve financial freedom from this cryptocurrency. I'm talking about real generational wealth. All you have to do is resist the urge to sell too soon and stick to your game plan. While financial advisors are still trying to figure out what Bitcoin is, we're already positioned in the technology that's going to dominate the future of finance. The institutions are coming, the regulations are clearing up, and the technology keeps getting better. We're not just early, we're in the perfect position to benefit from everything that's about to unfold. So keep holding strong, keep building your positions, and remember, we're not just investing in crypto, we're securing our financial futures while the traditional financial world tries to catch up